Well, welcome back to the channel. So we popping up on y'all.
It's a pop-up.
It's a pop-up. So my name's Kevin.
I'm Tarsha.
This is Conversations with the Crawleys, and normally we do videos of faith, family relationships, and recaps. We just had a busy weekend. It was a busy
life.
Yes. Life outside of YouTube. Busy weekend. We did watch the reunion, the second part. And we were like, okay, by the time we film it and get it chopped up and everything for you all,
let's just go.
So we're like, look, let's just connect with y'all.
Let's get it
going. In fact, while you're here, do that thing where you need to hit the subscribe, hit the like, request notifications. Definitely hit the likes, because that's gonna help YouTube to know that other people, or that you guys are here, and tell other people.
Yep.
And then we can have a whole party going on while we talk about this last portion of this reunion. And while I know folks are still coming in, they've already said that in June, Ready to Love Dallas.
Okay, Dallas
is going to be popping on, and but it's going to be on Thursday night. So,
yep,
we'll see what that does. Hopefully, they don't lose ratings or anything. I know, because it's been on Friday night since it started.
I believe so.
Okay. No, it was on Saturday, I think, and then it moved to Fridays, and now they're moving it to Thursday.
Maybe they need more ratings on Thursdays.
I don't know, because they ain't got too much other shows.
Yeah.
All right, so let's jump into it.
Yeah, let's go for it.
Because it picked up from the last portion where Morgan was crying, and
she had ran off.
She ran off, right? And she was crying. She was calling Tony a monster. And Tony was like, "Let me go talk to Marcia. Since I can't get in to talk to Morgan, I'm gonna go talk to Marcia." Got his arm all around her.
Yeah, because I was like, "Are they dating?"
No.
Oh, he just messing around. Why he did?
Well, they explain later on that they're just friends, and I think Marcia, she sees what the potential in him. She sees something in there, but I don't know that I hope Marcia doesn't fall for that.
I don't know.
I hope not.
I hope not. She escaped the first time, so.
But what was interesting was a lot of the brothers was like, "Yo, Tony, listen, don't even sweat it. You okay?" The only person that seemed to be supporting Morgan was Jeffrey.
Yeah.
Birds of a feather flock together is what I say. So anything else on them as far as that portion? It was just interesting.
No, I mean, like you said, Jeffrey was in there trying to console her. And pretty much at this point, it was time for the other couples to get on the stage.
Right.
So there was like, we need to move this. Tony's where he needs to be. So there's nothing else happening on our watch. So we can get on to the next segment. Yeah.
So anyway, then there was the getaway recap. So they just, and here's my thing. They did not really dig into the whole Jeffrey and Blake thing.
Yeah, I was surprised. I was surprised they didn't make that a segment.
Yeah. They didn't dig into that. They left that alone. They didn't touch that with a 10-foot pole.
I wonder why.
Maybe Sue Ann might have been like, "We're going to sue y'all if y'all talk about it."
because he my man now.
Right.
And so we got what they call it, a cease and desist. We had a cease and desist.
Because I mean that would have been a very interesting conversation.
I think it should have been addressed, right?
Yeah.
Because she was making these allegations, and Blake said it wasn't true.
Right.
Now someone should be able to collaborate, right?
Corroborate her story or his story or whatever.
Right. On somebody's side. But they decided not to touch it. I wonder. They were messy everything else.
Yeah. So
interesting.
So
maybe Blake said he wasn't going to show up if they started.
It's possible, or maybe.
Or even if they didn't go from that side, they could have talked about Morgan and Blake and showed a scene where Morgan didn't she call him a monster too? Or she didn't go that far.
She said something that was just like it was out of pocket. Her whole thing was out of pocket for me.
Yeah. So I'm surprised they didn't bring that up.
That's true too.
Anything with Blake didn't come up.
Yeah. I mean, because the thing with Corvaya and Lyndon that they brought up last week, it was a nice throwback, but Corvaya was there for like a half a minute.
The real beef was Blake. Even if you did a segment on Blake being at the bottom the whole time and him not getting connections, they could have put him on the couch, and then all the ladies that he was having conflict with and no one could seem to be on the same page with him when he was dating.
Yep.
They could have talked about that.
Yep.
But they were like,
they left that alone. Now, I'm curious. That don't make sense to me.
That don't make sense at all.
So Ready to Love producers, y'all got to do a better job of recapping what we want to see. Y'all need to, in some respects, y'all need to redo this reunion over again because y'all missed some stuff.
I think they did.
And y'all filmed it too early because I wanted to have a confrontation or have at least something between Simone and Jeffrey. Bring out that.
Bring her back. Instead of bringing out
Caleb. Don't bring Caleb back. Bring Simone back.
Bring Simone back.
Have her sit on the couch on one side. Have Jeffrey sit on the couch on the other side. And Tommy just be like intermediated. So anyway.
Been another attorney.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't want to do that to Jeffrey.
Jeffrey don't do too well with attorneys. It don't look like.
She wasn't going to be ready for that.
So they did have, like I said, the getaway recap. And then Jeffrey says she can't handle the pressure of multiple men. I'm going to just stop there and leave that alone. Lyndon does say, yes, he was hounding Morgan. He's like, yeah.
Because they brought up the scene with Tony saying, he just hounding. He's like, yep, I was. I was trying to be the number one. And
again, Morgan, well, Tony said last week that they have a toxic attraction, right?
He did.
Because Morgan said that that Tony had red flags. So she's seen these red flags while they're going through the process.
Right. Yeah, we already talked about it. Yeah.
But she's like, Lyndon didn't have any, but she gave a lot of grace towards Tony.
That's what she said.
Listen, only God can give that much grace.
He said only God can give that much grace.
Because that was some grace. And then she called Marcia a distraction.
Yeah, and Marcia was like, well, you keep looking over here. But she wasn't. She was trying to like talk to Tony.
But Marcia was essentially like, keep my name out your mouth.
Marcia was just like, I don't know what you're talking about. Girl, please. And she was just like, I'm not talking to you. Then why you keep mentioning my name?
Right. If it's not about me, if I'm the second place, why you keep bringing me up? Evidently, you're insecure.
Yeah.
And Marcy did call. She's like, you're insane.
She did say that.
Yeah.
It was interesting.
Yeah.
And they kept going back and forth
for a hot minute. But then Marcia had the line of the day, in my opinion. You remember what she said?
No.
It was kind of like while they were changing stuff around.
Oh, when they got up?
Yeah, when they got up, she's like, y'all really cast some crazy people this year.
Oh, yeah, I remember. She did say that.
Marcia was like, look, y'all got some insane folks on this season.
Oh my God.
Got more than your quota. And then there was a scene where Andre was comparing his capris to somebody, and I was like, dude.
They're interesting. His outfit was pretty interesting. They like to show a lot of ankles in Miami.
Yeah. I'm gonna leave that alone. Then they get to the Andre, Cynthia, and Jeffrey recap. And
well, he was saying that him and Jeffrey had a lot in common.
Right.
But then he turned around and said, but she had a lot she needed to work on. I don't know what that was supposed to mean.
So here's the thing: if someone did put a like y'all, whoever that was, you put a long comment on our last video. I spent like 3 days.
Shut up.
It was long. Listen, baby girl or whoever it was, you typed up a whole essay, college course essay, saying that yes, we did not address Andre, but I think the portion of our addressing Andre is in this video because this is where we see the reunion, right? Mm-hmm. And so yes, we talked last episode about how Jeffrey's voice went from like hi to shut up, right? So, but let's talk about Andre because Andre doesn't get off scot-free in this because Andre had this entire process to inquire about the children's father, to inquire about her past relationships, all of those things. So if he doesn't get a pass from me and say, well, after after this whole process, I discovered more. You didn't do any discovery because those things that you're bringing up were things that were known to us, the audience. Well, as far as the issue,
well, he was surfaced the whole time on the show.
Yeah,
their relationship was surface.
And Marcia did say Dre loves to live on that surface.
She sure did.
Yeah.
So you can't fault her about what's going on with her and her children. Mm-mm. But at the same time, did you have enough to assess after you started dating her? Because it sounded like it was only a week.
Right.
But then all of a sudden it was a red flag after a week. So just say you didn't want to date her no more. It didn't have to be about her kids. But he didn't. See, the thing is, he didn't outright say that. She said it.
That's true. That is true.
He didn't come out and say anything.
He just kind of was like,
he alluded.
You got 2 fathers and neither one of them the kids. That's something I'm concerned about.
But at the same time, he should have been concerned the episode where they were supposed to bring their ex. Now, if he knew that Cynthia was going to be going more with Anthony, then he could make the decision to bow out anytime he wanted to. Because at this point, he didn't have any more connections.
Right. And that's the thing. Unfortunately, I think that's part of the challenge of Ready to Love, period, is that you have those that may just be there because they want to make it to the end.
But if you're really looking for love,
true,
and it's not there, just like everyone else, they have the conversation. Well, some have the conversation with Tommy, and they say, hey, my journey has to end. I'm not finding anyone. Yeah. And he came back. They shouldn't have let him back. Remember?
That's true too.
He had COVID, and he bowed out when he had COVID.
Yep.
So they didn't have to really bring him back.
Yeah. True. Because Jeffrey does say that Andre knew before the finale that he wasn't going to have time for her and her kids.
Right. Because even when he was off the show, he was talking to her.
And wondering why Mercedes didn't call him.
Boom. So he discounted Mercedes because of that. They're having conversations. So in somewhere that should have came up about her and her children.
Yeah. So Andre also says that there were things that he saw as time went on. Listen, when someone tells me there's things that happened as time went on, to me, that's a month process. That's a few months. We've been dating for a while, and as time has gone on, I'm starting to see some things.
It's starting to add up. Things are starting to add up.
He said as time went on, and it was like a week.
Shut up.
He's like, Monday I thought this, and then Tuesday I thought this, and by Saturday, as time went on, he's like, there's things that she has to work on. Can I help you? We were watching for 8 weeks or 9 weeks, however many weeks it was. We were watching for these number of weeks, and we saw just in the 20 minutes that she was on in each episode, if you will, that there were things that she needed to work on.
Right.
So you're telling me, again, this is surface living. You're telling me, though, that it took you all of this process and then a little extra week or two to figure out that she has things to work on. You also have things to work on too, Andre.
Yeah, I think if you're going to make the decision, first of all, in pursuing a relationship, he should have gave him more time.
Yep.
Right? If he was making all these, declaring that she's the one and we're going to see it through, then to be fair to her, then it should be longer than a week.
Right.
You should, date her, see. Now, obviously, you don't want to bring the children around until hey, we are going to be straight.
Absolutely.
So have that conversation. Like, hey, I want to continue to date you. I'm not ready to meet your kids, but I want to see, are we going to be able to work this out? Because at one point he made statements that he didn't even believe what she was saying when she was talking about the fathers.
Right.
But that didn't keep you from kissing up all on her.
Or dragging her into that jacuzzi with her pants on.
Right. Thank you.
So
we need to make decisions. Are we going to think with our head or with our head? Oh, well.
Listen, as you're watching, we are doing this one live just because, listen, we had a busy weekend. Let us know in the comments. We are looking at the comments, so let us know. But also hit that like button. Let's get this algorithm going because we're going to have fun with this one as we're talking through. Jeff, so Andre he's dating, but he's not in a relationship. So he's surface dwelling right now again still. And then Jeffrey just says she's single until she gets married.
Okay.
To her biblical husband. Okay.
All right.
Moving along. All right. So then we get to the Tony recap. So Tony, basically the entanglements and everything with as far as Tony, because Tony had a couple of connections, as Morgan called him, Tony from the top or Tony from up top. So he had Morgan, he had Marcia. We found out about Natasha way late in the season, and so it was like, okay, what was it about Tony? And Tony is smooth. I forgot one of them put it, but basically because he was raised with all women, so he knows how to communicate. I don't know.
Maybe he know how to finesse. I would say finesse.
Okay. Because I know enough guys or people that have been raised by single families or what have you, that doesn't mean that you automatically are this suave person or you know how to talk or communicate. That doesn't always mean that.
And I don't think he was a good communicator because they had problems. So that's why I'm saying.
Yep.
What I said. I think they focused a lot of the season on Tony and Morgan. And so, Tommy's kind of calling him out of the Natasha thing.
Yeah. Because
he's like, I told you not to be messing with people that's not on the show.
Because they do have rules. And I imagine they have, within the contracts, within the guidelines, they have the rules, because we've heard from production. And if any of the folks like Paul or anyone else that's been on our channel, if you're watching and let us know, or if you guys know. So Beautiful T says, I don't understand why it's against the rules for Tony and Natasha to continue to date and talk, but it was okay for Andre and Jeffrey to date when Andre was no longer in the process. True. I'll give you that.
Yeah, because he mentioned it, but I don't know how much Tommy knew because Andre mentioned it to Mercedes.
Right.
That, hey, me and Jeffrey were still talking.
That's true.
And we didn't keep talking. She's like, you were off the show.
That's true. That is true. I think though, yeah.
I don't think Tommy, but Tommy is saying the whole reason why I tell you not to talk. So then you get entangled with someone and then it interrupts your dating ability on the show.
Right. Because for Andre, as far as Andre though, that wasn't brought up to Tommy.
No, it wasn't brought up to Tommy.
So the only way that Tommy knew about Natasha was because Tony had told Tommy.
Did Tony? No, Tony didn't tell. Well, because he had to.
Right.
Because they brought it up in the men's lounge.
Right. So that's how Tommy found out about it. So it may not, and so you're right. It may not be a rule within the guidelines, but Tommy's probably in the lounge, just like, look, once these ladies are done, don't get messy.
Don't get messy.
So,
because I hear Natasha's point, right? Tony thinks, he said, well, I'm just, we were grown adults and we were having a good time. Where Natasha was like, well, I thought someone was going to brew from this.
Yeah.
And I don't know if she was being a little naive in that or not, or she wasn't understanding that Tony wasn't looking for more than a good time.
But remember, she said, this is what Natasha said. Natasha's also an attorney.
Mm.
Natasha said that Tony was offered to leave the show. Yeah, that's right. There was no penalty for breaking Tommy's rule. But Natasha said Tony was kind of acting like, hey, you want me to leave the show for you, girl? And Tony's like, I don't remember all that.
Oh, no, he said, he's like, well, I don't know if I was really going to really lead the show. Because again, he was leading her on. And if you're going to lead someone on like that,
yeah,
he was just looking for, like she said, looking for a good
time. Tony was trying to do like the radio station, hit it or quit it. So, because Tony said you knew the deal. He said he stopped talking because she told producers that they were sleeping together or they had slept together, and that she was seeking clout, and that's why he didn't respond. So he's like, the fact that I ghosted you is all on you because you started telling folks that we were sleeping together. What was that? Oh, okay. Y'all remember, just crossed my mind. And this is just, again, y'all know, if you're a fan of this channel, you know I just sometimes just have random thoughts. Y'all remember on Friday, right? When Smokey had met the girl who said that she looked like Janet Jackson. And Smokey was like, look, don't call me. In fact, if you call me, I ain't going to connect with you. In fact, don't come by the house, because if you come by the house, we definitely ain't getting together. That's what Tony did. He was like, look, you tell the producers I ain't connecting with you. He basically was like, he ghosted her because she started telling folks that they was connected. Oh, you went way back. You said the only real couple is Reba and Mario from season 1 or 2. They still together, all these people full of lust and so much fakeness. Well, no, I have to disagree with that, because you got Simone and Rashid.
They're about to get married.
You got the couple in DC, Cliff and Joy.
Joy, and they're already married.
They're already married. Yep. So there are some
very few.
Right. Percentage-wise, there are very few real couples, but there are some real couples that are there. And you're right, there are some that are just there for a good time.
Okay. Or they were asked to come on the show.
Yes, that's the other thing.
Some of these people did not sign up or apply for the show.
Yeah. Oh, no worries, Loretta. Just point it out. You're good.
Yeah, this is good conversation. Because a lot of times we forget,
because we forgot some of these too.
Yeah.
We had to be reminded.
Because at this point, they're kind of grilling Tony, like putting everything out here. Because again, I felt like it was almost the Tony and Morgan show.
So, and then Natasha was like, yeah, and then I wasn't feeling too good because I heard he had a drinking problem.
I was like, wow, throw this dude under the bus.
But let's be honest. Tony did seem like he knew how to hit that Hennessy.
He knew how to hit the song.
You remember that at the getaway, it was like everybody was out hanging out and Tony was in the bed asleep with
he was out like
shot
a
in his
light.
hand or whatever.
He was out like a light. Tony was out.
Yeah, very true. He was still dating on the show, so she should have known he wasn't serious, right?
Yep.
So the whole thing with Tony, Natasha, and then Morgan, it was just.
And this is the question, and we talked about this offline before. If Morgan chose herself, why were you dating him after you chose yourself? Because we applauding her like, oh my gosh, all these red flags. What is she going to do? Is she going to make the right decision? Is she going to try to stay with Tony? So she's there saying, I choose myself. She give Brother Man his flowers back. She didn't even keep the flowers.
Yeah, Tyra, we actually, when the whole thing came up originally about Natasha, I went back to the own website and was like,
Natasha, who?
Oh, okay, yeah. Listen, I remember the little short, like, Poindexter looking dude more than I remember her. She was just like not there.
You couldn't help remember him because he looked like he was 15. Does
Tony really know how to play the game though?
Morgan needs some serious help.
I agree. Both of them need some help. Let's just be honest. Morgan needs help from the aspect that she's giving some very some huge red flags just as far as relationship. There's I look at it as insecurity, the way that she kind of attacks the other women, the way that she went, did Marcy, the way that she, talked about Natasha, what have you. To me, that's an insecurity move. That's not a I'm this type, I'm her type of move, right? So they both have some issues. I think Tony has some, as far as what I can see. And again, we're basing all of this off of a show,
right,
and off of what producers have edited. But I think that for Tony, I think there are some, I have some concerns just as far as his authenticity and his character when it comes to being what he says or wants to present himself as. Because I think it was Natasha that said that he's not really there for love, and that he says he's a good man or godly man and a good father. And she's like, I don't see it. So someone who's up close, and yes, we could get into the whole thing of maybe Natasha is trying to do this for clout, maybe what have you. But I'm just saying that there are discrepancy that I see between how Tony presents himself verbally versus how he presents himself in his character and his nature. That's just my thought. So, what'd you say? Yeah, Morgan tried to embarrass Tony at the end and got mad because she played herself. Yeah, I can agree with that. Yeah, she's definitely not a victim.
Oh no,
not at all.
No, not at all.
Not at all a victim.
No, because she had an opportunity to get out when she said, "I choose myself."
Yeah.
Then she turned around, and I guess he called her the next day and said, "All right, let's go out." Like what? So you can't be mad at him. He said no. Then you turn around and then you date the dude.
Yeah.
So I think that's crazy.
Tony was still talking about Marcia even after she was voted off. Yeah, I think in all honesty, I think Tony had a better connection with Marcia. I think Marcia, though, because Marcia said something to the effect of that Tony let Marcia be Marcia. Marcia didn't have to put on any airs or anything with him. So they had a good connection, but I think Marcia really dodged the bullet, though.
Yeah.
Just because, again, I think that what we've seen doesn't see. Keep him chasing because he seems disinterested once he gets the ladies. Yeah.
That's another thing we talked about.
Yeah.
Because his goal was to win the prize.
Yep.
And he looked highly upset when she didn't choose them.
Yep.
At the end.
Because can we be honest? There's not this big burst of fame that comes with being the last couple on Married on Ready to Love.
No, especially if you're not going to be together. It's a bust.
The only couple that has turned it into something, well, there's two couples. So Joy and Cliff turned it into Married at First Sight, or not Married at First Sight, but Love and Marriage DC.
Yeah.
Right. But even that's they just shifted it to another show. Rashida Simone, they created their own space and their own lane with their podcast and their YouTube channel. And they're doing phenomenal with that. But other than that, no one's really checking for these folks after they get off of this.
Unless they're checking them at the club, like they're promoting.
Yeah.
They're doing club promoting and different stuff like that. But other than that.
Yeah. And yes, Tony was being manipulative. Or Morgan did say that he was being manipulative. They manipulated each other. They were both sitting there with puppet strings on each other.
They were working each other. Oh my God. This is a mess. Let's just move on. And what happened next? Because then that's when they brought out Mark Anthony, right?
Pretty much, yeah. Because Lyndon did say, he's like, look, I just want to point out, I never tried to manipulate and get Tony off. My whole thing was I was just going to compete and I was just going to win her affection. I'd never put his name in my mouth trying to get him off the show. And they were like, I just want to let y'all know. I had nothing else to let you know but that one.
Tony's like, duly noted.
And then, yes, Marcy does say that they are a friend, but
he's a friend.
Right. But she's not going on a date with him. Like Tony don't get like after 6 p.m. dates. Tony get let's go to Starbucks and get macchiatos. Tony gets let's go to brunch. Tony don't get the let's go to Capitol Grill or go to Ruth Chris and have a date meal. Tony don't get that right now. Carlos King says he wants to put Tony and Morgan on TV in his interview with her. She may get a deal. They're checking for Morgan. She's great TV.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. That makes great. Like I said, they've had so much focus on them the whole season. You could tell something was brewing. Drama sells, baby. Drama sells.
I know, but listen.
Try to help people.
Just
like stay broken.
Give her a Nair commercial and let us move on.
Not a Nair commercial. No.
Just let her be a spokesperson from Nair.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, what else is it? Lyndon's moved on with his girlfriend. She's white. Put on vacations. Pictures on. Okay, cool.
Okay.
I don't know that Marcia doesn't trust herself with him. I think that she appreciates him. I think that they have a good connection, chemistry. But I think Marcia, from what I get from Marcia, I don't know that that's going to really be helpful for her. So I think that's why she's like, I'm gonna just go ahead and put you on. I'm gonna keep you while you figure out what's going on with you and Morgan. Mm-hmm. A. Two, so that I can see kind of what you're going to do when we're not on these cameras. Mm-hmm. You're not going to get any time with me that could be consequential. Now, it could be if Tony that we saw on Ready to Love as far as on camera is different, and Marcia sees that as they continue to be friends down the road, and she's attracted to that and she's good with that. Okay. But I think that she's also just checking the fruit and inspecting what she sees to see if that's something that's really going to be something she does want to pursue. If
probably just want to stay safe.
Yeah. Yep, Tyra, I'm saying, listen, let's start a petition.
Start a petition.
Don't put it on TV. Just go ahead and give her a Nair commercial.
Give her 30-second Nair commercial. We start in trouble.
People do like drama, but not all drama is good drama.
All drama is good drama.
No, I said not all drama is good drama.
Drama is good drama.
No. What else? Oh, Anthony and then before they finished, Tommy did say this is not a place to run game and play around. Mm-hmm. Well, that's something that you should say day one to all of the folks.
Continually say that. Because we can say whatever we want. But these people are out here saying I can be on national TV and be running game. They'll run game.
Yeah. I'm Team Marcia too.
Mm-hmm.
Listen. I don't see Marcia backing down from Morgan.
No.
I'm not saying that Marcia is gonna square up with her, but Marcia is like, I'm not gonna go for it, and I'm not gonna sit up here and just get into a verbal thing with you just because.
Right.
I'll shut it down. So
yeah,
I am Team Marcia as well. Then we have Anthony and Cynthia in their recap.
Yeah. And
why was Jeffrey looking salty?
Jeffrey looked salty at everybody. I don't know why, but it was just odd because, they're talking, and even the relationship between Anthony and Cynthia, I'm like, what happened? Because if Anthony seems to make it seem that they got into some type of arguments and Cynthia didn't handle it right. And Cynthia's like, I need to be working on stuff so that we can be together. So he's a nurse. Did she didn't like that he had to be on call, or like what was it?
Did she send him to the emergency room?
Shut up. I was trying to figure out what in the world happened, because they were so vague, and her body language was so off the whole time.
Yeah, Tara, I can see that might be a portion, that the person who cries like that can't be healed, because she did have some very emotional moments. Mm-hmm. We were hoping that it was tears of joy, if you will, type of thing, or at least just kind of like
being vulnerable.
That's her vulnerability. And I was really rooting for them as a couple.
Oh yeah.
But I'm still don't know why Jeffrey was having an issue with it, because she wasn't interested in Anthony. Mm-mm. And for Cynthia was just her competition with Andre, but really
there wasn't any competition, because even Jeffrey said when Jeffrey was sitting there with Cynthia and Andre was on the other side, Jeffrey said that Cynthia was classy.
Mm-hmm.
And that Cynthia wasn't trying to be messy or anything when Jeffrey was talking to, and when there was all three of them together, she mentioned, Jeffrey's mentioned that how classy Cynthia was.
Yeah.
So it just didn't make sense.
But is it jealousy that she at least had a relationship that went a little further than hers?
Who knows?
I don't know. But yeah, because the body language between her and Anthony,
it didn't even seem like it was like a mutual respect or understanding. It was more like, I'm just gonna turn my back towards you. It just seemed off.
Yeah. It seemed off. His body language, not his body language, but his posture was more really, well, Anthony is kind of reserved anyway.
He's reserved. So he just seemed like, I'm gonna be laid back, try to stay neutral. But she came off like, well, I don't want to really talk about it, but since I'm here, I got to talk about it. So she kind of gave me the vibes of like, I really don't want to talk about this right now.
Okay.
And I think that's why they were being very vague in what they were saying.
Got you.
But it would have been nice to see they're working through it together. But it seemed like they like, look, we're going to split. And if I get back to you, I get back to you. That's what it gave me.
Yeah. But if we start to see pictures of her in 3 Chainz.
Shut up. That's the father of her children.
She wouldn't leave if it was Andre. Let's be honest. She was not attracted to Anthony. I don't know if I agree with that.
I think she was. Now, they might have been attracted in different ways, though. Right.
Yeah. So,
she did look very uncomfortable.
Yeah. And then Mark Anthony.
Yeah. With his shirt open. He looked like he shaved his chest hairs.
You might be using Morgan's nail. Like Morgan. And then so Mark Anthony and Mercedes kiss. And Jeffrey over there again. Listen.
Now she did have a thing for Mark Anthony.
True.
So I could see that more for Mark Anthony than for Anthony.
True. Now their issue, if you remember, was the fact that he's going to long distance, what have you. So but their body language is like they're still kind of exploring the potential and the possibility.
Friends with benefits, maybe.
Yeah. In other words, you fly in, cool. You fly out,
cool.
We cool, but we cool long distance. Mark Anthony. Okay, I was like, Mark Anthony and Mercedes. Yes, I do. I think that they're a good couple. They're not gonna make a nice couple. Yes.
You know, I wish that he was saying that he was going to stay centrally located in Miami. I think if he did that, she would have been all for it. And they could have worked on their relationship.
Oh yeah.
Because only thing she was saying, it was the long distance.
Right.
Now, hopefully, if they can build on whatever's going on between them, maybe he can find something where he can be stable in Miami since she just moved there.
Right.
If it turns out to be worth it, right? Because people start putting effort into what they feel they have value in. So hopefully something would change, because I thought they were a perfect match.
Yeah, we noticed that early on when they had one of their dates that we saw early on with them. I was like, okay, I could see them together. I saw him have a better connection with Mercedes than I could see him having with Jeff.
Oh yeah, me too.
Right.
Me too.
The fact that it's a long distance thing is not it's a deal breaker as far as moving forward, but that doesn't just that's not going to be the reason that would keep them apart if they find themselves in the same city.
Right.
If they find themselves figuring out how they could make that work, they can make that work.
Yeah.
But it's just going to be a matter of, will they find themselves in the same city?
I think it's just time, right?
Yes.
Because as they indicated, they're building on their friendship.
Yep.
And so as they're building on their friendship, hopefully something will come to a point where they can say, you know what, is worth me doing this, because Mark Anthony mentioned to Mercedes that he was in a relationship with a flight attendant that was long distance, and how it didn't end up
So it's
working
like deja vu in some respects.
Right, is what he was saying. So
yeah, he didn't want someone with kids, and having because she has 3 kids.
She has 3 kids.
He's
not gonna handle that.
But he's not in a position in life, I think, for that. I don't think I think that's by his own admission. It's not even just a matter of I don't want to take on that responsibility. I don't think he's at a position in life where that would be something that would be good for either of them.
Right.
Andre, at least because Andre's been on the cover of Forbes magazine, that would be okay if that's what he wanted to take on. But he was like, no, I need to figure out who these baby daddies are and what's going on.
Whatever.
And let me, because there was something else that from last episode that somebody in the comments had made, is that no, Jeffrey did not say that all Black men do that. But she said Black men leave their kids every day. But I'm going to take issue with that again.
Yeah, that's still not the best way to say that.
Right. Because one, you're feeding into a stereotype and a proven piece of misinformation. Because actually the statistic is that Black men are more involved with their kids than other races. Now, we can feed into the stereotype. And yes, it does happen across the board. It does happen where some men do not step up and take their responsibility. Absolutely. But for her to make that statement, I took issue with it. And you know, we don't know all of the story as far as what actually happened with her and the fathers of her children. Right. But to pass that off as this is just what Black men do.
No, we can't do that.
That ain't no.
Can't go that way.
Nope. I don't. We're not doing that. Andre couldn't handle that either. He's too needy. But see, at least Andre will say, from what he said he's been in relationships. He's been in relationships with children with or he's been in a relationship with mothers, with women that have kids, right? And
at his age, that's to be expected, because when you're dating, you're not gonna. There's a small pool of women that may not have kids. So for him to stay open to the dating pool, he's gonna be dating people that have children. That don't necessarily mean that he meets everybody's child.
No.
But if he has some serious relationships, he's probably been, when they last years, that he's been involved. Because I think the last relationship, he said it was hard because of the children.
Right. So. Other than that, they had some outtakes. They had last words.
Yes.
Nothing else. Again, I was really disappointed that they didn't do the Blake Jeffrey issue.
I would have loved it.
Or the Blake Morgan issue. There was nothing majorly surprising, I would say, in this reunion.
Not at all.
So, but we don't have too long to wait, because you say he had a fit because Mercedes didn't call him while he was sick. He's needy. Yes, he's needy and immature, in my opinion. And as we've said before, he's very surface. He's very, very surface. Tommy missed the mark. Now Tommy didn't do as bad as if you watch our Love is Blind. If you watch Love is Blind, Vanessa, and particularly Vanessa Lachey, she needs to be fired. But Tommy just missed the mark. She needs to be fired. Listen, I'm trying to get us a job. Let us do the Love is Blind recaps.
Oh, that would be interesting.
So, but yeah, Tommy missed the mark on this. But nothing major, nothing
stuck. I mean, I like Mark Anthony and Mercedes. I had like Anthony and Cynthia. I wanted to see them work out. Out of that.
Oh, real quick, if any of y'all know what's going on with Blue, because I thought I saw something that said Blue has some indictments or something.
What?
Listen, if y'all know that, put that in the comments real quick, because I'm interested in that.
What? Because Blue's dating. Okay, what about the Blue and Kayla? Did they come out of nowhere?
That came out of that was a surprise or a shocker, right? In some respects. Now we have started to see where, because they're doing part A and part B in the same city, we have seen where who was it, DC Potomac, where
They
started dating someone from the other cast.
Mm-hmm.
So that in itself is not a surprise.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know. Y'all let us know. Oh, dang.
What? He's in federal prison for PPP fraud. He's been arrested for PPP fraud. He's serving 2. Kayla ain't doing good. Kayla ain't batting well. She picking these brothers. He about to do. She's gonna be a pen pal. Wow.
Listen,
y'all, them PPP loans still getting people in trouble. It's 3 years later.
Listen, we have a church, and we could have tried to get some stuff. We were like, I ain't touching that. Loans. God will take care of us. We'll provide.
Them loan. It's a loan.
Yep.
Loan means you got to return that stuff.
Yeah.
2 mil. What was he buying? Because he wasn't dressing like it was 2 mil. He did not dress like he was
blue.
Dang, bro, that is not worth it. See,
we so Z did talk about that with Blue. We didn't even get the Blue the Z and Blake conversation.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They didn't talk about Blake that's what I'm saying, because he had all those dates and they were not meshing. He meshed with no one except for Sue.
Yeah, they missed the mark on this one.
So to me, making it more about Tony and Morgan, they did a disservice to the show because there were other things going on.
All right, we got to go check out what Simone said. They said they took back the expensive car he purchased. Listen.
I guess they did.
Listen.
So he put it into cars. He didn't even put it in no clothes, huh?
Yeah.
Draw attention to yourself.
What
you doing fraud?
You gonna do that? Keep it low key. Keep it low key. Listen.
That's the problem. When you steal, you don't know how to keep things low key.
New money get found out real quick.
Real quick.
Wow. I was hoping it was just something like
like
someone with his liquor license or something.
He said a liquor license.
Because he got a club, right? So maybe he messed up on his liquor license. Now, you talking federal?
I ain't going to federal. And Blue got blue eyes. He ain't going to do well in federal prison. Blue ain't going to do well.
As one of my boys says all the time on my other channel that I do for my guys podcast, I'm too cuddly to go to jail.
Jesus Christ. What is going on? Ooh.
Yeah, I wouldn't go.
And he went on the show, but he was low key on the show because I couldn't tell he had any money on the show.
Yeah,
I couldn't tell he had any money on the show.
Listen, listen. Could you imagine if the cameras was rolling when they came and swooped him up?
Oh, that would have made for TV. They like drama.
Oh, they would have done that.
Oh, they've been all over that.
Did you notice when they were showing Blue and Mark Anthony talking about dating fellas? I did see that. That's why I was like, I wanted to figure out what that was.
Oh, that's what he was meaning.
Yeah. Yeah, because they did that in editing. So yeah. So now we got Dallas coming up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know anybody in Dallas. We know a couple people in Dallas.
We know a couple people in Dallas.
But I don't know how the dating market is in Dallas.
I don't know.
It'll be interesting.
I mean, because there's enough out there in Dallas.
Dallas has a good, nice population.
It's got a nice little vibe.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll find out.
Yeah. So we got about 2 months because they come back in June.
Yep.
It'll be on Thursday. So we'll see. Where y'all can be. Yeah. I like. It was something about Blue. I like Blue. Blue just kind of didn't get the push or get the attention or screen time.
Mm-hmm.
But
he was so reserved.
Right.
He had a lot going on in the background.
He was too busy making attorney calls. He's like, I can't go on this date. I got to talk with my attorney.
Shoot.
Blue, listen, when you get out, if you want to do an interview, if we're still doing this channel, hit us up.
2.5 years from now. Maybe he'll get out on good time.
Listen, maybe he'll switch over to Love After Lockup.
Ooh, Love After Lockup. Dang. Maybe Kayla still be around.
I know. Kayla's daddy ain't going to let her stick around for a felon. Okay, Dallas is Tommy's hometown. So okay, so he might. That might be.
That's true. It is.
Yeah.
Have they done Dallas before?
Mm-mm. They done Houston.
They done Houston. Okay.
I'm just wanting for them to come out to the West Coast.
See, they need to.
Now
they do Cali,
do LA. Even I'm trying to think of other LA, San Diego, Phoenix.
Yeah,
we hear horror stories about dating in Phoenix.
Dang.
Chicago would be interesting.
That's who I think that's what we talked about. They should do Chi-Town.
Chicago would be interesting.
That would be nice. Yeah.
It would be interesting.
Yeah.
Baltimore would be interesting too.
Oh, Baltimore. Ooh, yes.
So all right. So yeah.
Better be northern Baltimore.
And then Charlotte might be a nice place.
Oh, Charlotte, because that's it. Yeah.
Black populations, yeah.
Yeah, Charlotte would be a nice place.
We'll see. All right. Well, listen, that's it. Yeah. We're not gonna hold y'all again. We appreciate you all hopping on with us.
Thank you for spilling the tea.
Listen, that's a whole mouthful. Somebody said Philly, New York.
Oh, New York would be good.
New York would be good.
Yeah.
Philly might be a good place
Philly
too.
might be a good place. I can see that.
I mean, there are enough cities that have nice size.
Mississippi.
Mississippi. Okay. Okay. Or New Orleans.
Ooh, no.
New Orleans would be good.
That would be good because we've had a couple people from different seasons from New Orleans.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see.
Someone said New Jersey.
Well, and New York, forgive me if I don't know, but if, in my opinion, if you do New Jersey, if you do New York, you're automatically doing Jersey too.
Yeah, that's true.
Just because of how people may be, right? Yeah, I'm like, okay. I'm like, there's some places I'm like,
you need a little southern.
And part of it might be because of who I might have dated years ago that was from those areas. And I'm like,
from Mississippi.
Nah. And yes, that's just my own personal bias from years ago. I think that's it though.
Yeah.
Let us know your thoughts. Again, we appreciate you all sticking around. We've had a crazy weekend, just lots going on personal, all great stuff, all amazing stuff. It's just we didn't have time to sit down and tape one. So we said, let's come on live tonight. And y'all came through.
Y'all.
And so we appreciate, again, if you haven't already hit that like button. And then we'll have some other videos up. If you watch Married at First Sight, we got a video coming for that. Put a ring on it. We got a video coming for that. And then definitely when Ready to Love comes back, in fact, as soon as we start to see the cast, we'll start putting out some information and see what we can figure out and get going for y'all. See y'all next time. Have a great one. Be blessed.
Bye.
Bye.